pretty much my life.
Just why our hands look like this. Dried.
So good.
Yep. It's worse when you're a jeweler, then your fingernails are black from polishing yours all the time.
Oh man, I believe it. If you were going to make 100 of these, I would probably use gloves or a spatula. But on the flip side, when you're learning, I really also think it's kind of important to be able to feel what you're doing so that, you know, it is a way to tell if you've made a horrendous mistake, which you will do, because everybody does. Now, if I made a horrendous mistake, let's say that all of my clay fell off of my bowl, if you're on your first layer, you will calmly walk over to the bucket and you can rinse off your plaster before it starts to set up. That means you have to go back to 0 and start over, but maybe that's more desirable than having something half fallen apart on the inside of your bowl. So that is an option. It's not going to hurt your positive. It just means that you have to start over. Now, plaster, this material, the investment material that we're using, is not that expensive, so please don't feel like you need to, obviously don't waste it, but you know what I mean, if the choice is between saving your piece and discarding the investment, or saving the investment and discarding your piece, choose to save your piece. Alright, so this is starting to change. I can feel it starting to set up a little bit, so I'm going to start to apply it to my mold here.
Purpose of this to strengthen it, or to
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. So you can use the same thing that we saw with just the plaster. It's sort of spread out, and I want to just continue to push it up to fight against gravity until it really begins to set up. I could keep mixing until it's really actually starting to go. It just means that the person that's washing my buckets is going to have a harder time. So, you know, it's a trade-off. If you're not sure exactly how much material you're going to need, then maybe it makes sense to wait until it really starts to take so you can get what you want on there. Because I've done this bowl mold before so many times, I'm pretty confident that this is the right amount of material. And really the right amount of material is about ½ an inch thick. Maybe a little bit more if you've got an overly complex shape. But no less than that.
For both combined?
No, each layer. Should have something that's about an inch thick. Maybe an inch and a half. Err on the side of thicker as opposed to thinner.
Better to overdo than do over?
Yes, thank you. What she said. Write that down.
Been there, done that.
Twice.
At least. And we have club jackets.
Alright, so I'm just sort of pushing this up. There will be a point where I cannot manipulate this anymore because it's beginning to set to, it's already finished or done. And I'm going to just continue to poke at this until we get to that point because you'll be able to see it change. The actual surface looks different. So you can see now as I'm pulling it up, it's sort of collapsing back in on itself. It gives it a really smooth surface. And as it continues to set, what you'll see is it's going to start to look a little rougher. Do you all see how that's changed even now? And the point where you need to stop touching it and you've just lost your window of opportunity is when it begins to stick to your hands more than it sticks to itself. So this still looks okay. I just gave it a little flat spot so it sits on the table. I would highly recommend that you do that as well. But that's not non-essential. Okay, so do you see now how I touch it? It kind of comes away on my hands. I've got about 30 seconds before it really is going to stop moving. Okay, let's get that.